So, over the past few weeks, Ollie has been interviewing players past and present of Downing Cricket Club, and I thought it only right and fair that on the eve of his 18th birthday that we turned the tables and the interviewer became the interviewee. So I'm very pleased that Ollie has managed to struggle downstairs and join me in the dining room and speak to me about his experience at Downend. Ollie, can I ask you first of all your earliest memory of cricket and whether or not that would be Downend or other?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that since I was probably a week old that you'd have taken me up to the cricket club. I can't remember that far back. However, I can remember one of my first seasons. I think I was 9 years old playing in the under-11s. It was against Carson's and Dave Haynes was my coach at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember it being an unforgettable debut where it would be a case of bowling 4 overs and not batting because I could never used to bat in under-11s cricket. I was only 9 years old and I think I bowled 4 overs, 4 for 1 or 4 for 0. And since then, I think it was just a case of then enjoying it. Then it came kind of more than a hobby, really.
Okay, so do you remember your first times at Downend and training and with Dave?
Yeah, so I think we used to train on Saturday mornings.
Right.
Before an adult game in the afternoon, which I would always then stay up and watch and be up. I'd probably be up the club from 8 o'clock on Saturday morning to midnight on the evening with you and Mum, but mainly you because Mum would have gone home early, stumbling home. But no, I can remember training, and I think it always used to be a bit of fun. It was like socialising. That's what I really enjoyed about cricket and enjoy is the social aspects of it.
Yeah, and your sort of favourite players that you played with in the under-11s?
Yeah, so there were, quite a few names that, I really enjoyed playing with, just play with as a friend, as a laugh. George Haynes and Josh Haynes, they were really enjoyable to play with. Joe Dryle, I can always remember having a few laughs with Joe Dryle. And then of course my best mate Micah, who joined in under-13s, I think, which he hasn't looked back either, and I'm happy that he's at Downend too.
Yeah, and quite quickly we found that you were pretty handy playing cricket, and you got the opportunity, and you were involved in the county setup. Can you sort of talk through your memories of that?
Yeah, so I think it was actually the end of the season that I was 10 years old turning 11, and I think it was Dave Haynes who put me forward for a trial at Gloucestershire. I think it was at Newent, something like that. Went for the trial. It was raining. It was so wet. It was cold. It was in like middle of September. It was just the worst time to play cricket.
Yeah.
And I think we had an email come through saying I've made it to the winter programme, which I was ecstatic about, and it's a great opportunity. I didn't really know what it meant at that time. However, you did keep reminding me it's only the winter. Don't get your hopes up. Do go there, enjoy it, but don't exactly think that you're going to be in the county for your life. I then played in the under-11 season for county and went to Taunton for the Taunton Festival. That was in 2013, and I remember the captain Timmy Niblett. I think it was on the Monday he was really ill, and he couldn't play. So who was my coach? Dave Simpkins and Sam Birch. I think Dave Simpkins came up to me probably 15 minutes before the game saying, how do you feel captaining this week? And I thought, whoa, like 15 minutes before the first game. So that was a real honour, to be fair, to captain the under-11 side at Taunton. And then I played under-12s. I think that was with Steve Cashmore and Ollie Louch. And I captained that season. I'm pretty sure I captained the 13s.
Okay.
And then Joe Millard came along in the 14s and he captained and I was vice. And then I unfortunately got dropped, and that's probably the worst day in cricketing, for me, to know that kind of your dreams have been shattered at the age of 14, 15.
Yeah, it draws comparisons with what happened to me. And you really enjoyed your 3 or 4 years you had at Gloucestershire. and then it came. You were about 14, 15, and you found out that you weren't in the summer squad. How did you feel?
Broken, to be fair. I think it was actually a Tuesday night after training. I knew something was up because you pulled me away early and you said we've got to go. And I thought, oh Jesus, who's died? But we were sat in the car park and you just told me. Just had a call from, at the time, was Luke Sellers, and he said that you haven't made it, and I can remember crying for about a week.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I don't want to play cricket anymore. What's the point? And I think it was you or it was Grandad that told me, it's not over. You can still play in the district setup, which they said I could. So I did do that in the following season for the 15s and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think it was then that I realised, I don't need the pressure of being in county. I don't need the pressure of trying to look good or trying to perform well. I just want to enjoy cricket and play it to a high standard that I can. And obviously county wasn't that. And unfortunately, it's at a time of now where I think if you're in the county setup now, you've practically made it, really.
Right.
So I don't think I could go there again.
No. So you were at the sort of age 14, 15, a lot of things going on in your life, etc. But cricket was definitely something you wanted to carry on with. What sort of stage were you at your career as far as junior and senior cricket was it down in then?
I don't think I'd even touched a bat or a ball in the third team, so I hadn't even played senior cricket by then. However, it was that season that the captain at the time, Mark Belger, I don't know if he just felt sorry for me the week after, but he picked me in the third team. And I don't know, but everything about not playing for the county kind of went. And it was like, wow, I'm playing for the club that I've always wanted to, where I've grown up, really, and I practically live in the summer. Yeah. I've got a chance to play with senior players against other seniors at the age of 14, 15. So it was a great privilege to do that. Yeah.
And do you remember when you started playing senior cricket, who were your main influences when you played?
The same team as me?
Yeah.
No, but I think Ed Belger was my coach, so I spent a lot of time with him, and he'd give me quite a few tips. But then can I look up to the first team maybe?
Right.
Because
sure.
Watching the first team with you, we went to probably every game.
Yeah.
And I think I can remember wanting to bowl like Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, his brother.
Yeah.
I can remember wanting to bowl like him, and I wanted to bat like every overseas that came over, if they were good or bad, because it was just a new face to the club. It was like, wow, they must be good, so I want to bat like them.
Yeah.
I used to try and bowl like Phil with his action,
and
then I think I've still got a similar action now, but I'm not obviously as good yet as him.
Yeah. And so last season, fast forwarding a little bit, from memory, I think you started in the third team, and you ended up playing probably a third of the season for the first team. So how did that all come about?
Yeah, so I played in the third team under Jason Robinson for the first game, I think, and then someone was missing from the second team, and Ollie Louch called me on the Tuesday or whatever and said, look, we are going to select you. I think it was Hannam away. We lost in the last over, but it was just quite a privilege playing in the second team, and from then Ralphie kept me in the squad until I think it was the start of July, when I was just turning my attention to Bristol Rovers in the football season, and I got a call from Callum Gregory on the Wednesday, who was vice captain to Jord, and he called me saying, Jacko's unavailable, we need a bowler, how would you feel about coming on? I was like, what, me stepping into someone like Matt Jackson's shoes? You must be joking. I tried to tell him that there was someone else. I was quite scared, to be honest. I didn't know what I was going to come up against, but it was against Cheltenham, and we played on the Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember it quite well because I remember being contacted myself and asking, what I thought about you going into the first team, and my thoughts were very similar to yours. I thought it was far, far too soon and to be way out of your depth. Do you want to explain what happened to that game at Cheltenham?
Yeah, so we batted first and got 290. I was playing along the likes of Greggs, Jordan, Brandon Gilmore, Ian Cobain, someone that I've played junior cricket with, Hamdi Salim, who's obviously a very good player, and I just thought, I'm just going to embrace this moment and really enjoy it, and I I didn't bat, number 11 shot, but didn't bat, and we went out onto the field, and it was Cheltenham, were 20 for 2 or something, and it got to drinks, and they were about 130 odd for 2, and Jordan came up to me and said, do you fancy having a go? And I said, yeah, well, why not? I mean, I'm going to really, just keep embracing it. And I can remember he put me on in 27th over, and the guy who was on 60 or 80 odd, they're overseas. I got him out with my first ball for the first team, which obviously, not embarrassing, but I don't want to sound like I'm, very modest about it. But
just downhill from there, to be honest, you can possibly do.
So I can remember, my whole family was watching me, and it was, it was amazing. There were, I'd say, about 100 to 150 people around the ground.
Yeah.
Lovely day, and then I think it was a wicket maiden for my first over, and I ran back down to field at long on for Coey's bowling, and just people at the club like, wow, well done, Ollie. People have watched me for ages, like, I don't even know who you are, but thank you. Yeah. And then I went on with my next over and took another wicket, but then unfortunately, which obviously was the biggest problem, was that we lost the game.
Yeah.
And it was just a shame that, not for a personal level, that it couldn't have been capped with a victory.
Sure. And we sit here now, the day before the league season is due to start. You must feel particularly frustrated that there is no cricket.
100%. I mean, luckily, adhering to social distancing, Callum Loud and I have been able to work on the ground because we were going to have that job this summer. But I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is it was a big day tomorrow. Obviously, it's my 18th birthday, so it's a big party. Depending what team I was in, I think the first had Lands down at home, and the seconds had Bristol Pakistanis away. And whatever team I was in, I was going to enjoy it and have a great day. So it's a shame that there's no cricket at the moment.
It is, and I guess you're very disappointed that you can't do your yard or your 5 halves, because I think there's quite a few players who are looking forward to seeing you doing that.
Are they?
I think so. Are you disappointed you can't do that tomorrow?
Massively.
Okay.
I'm
Perhaps there might be a time later in the season that you can show your skills doing that.
No, that's definitely not going to be.
Okay. And sort of moving on and looking to the future, because the people that you've interviewed, most of their careers are behind them. Yours is very much in front of you. What are your aspirations for A, yourself, and B, for Down End as a club?
So firstly, for myself, I think I'd really like to be so if we talk short term, in the next 5 years, I'd love to be have a regular spot in the first team, and regularly be that 4th or 5th bowler, or 6th like I was last season. Sorry. I really enjoyed it, and kind of, it was a real pleasure playing under some players who have come up through the ranks at Gloucestershire. A bit, obviously they made it all the way to the academy, but a bit like me, they had a setback, and we'll see how much they enjoy their cricket and how good they are, even playing at this, it is still a good standard.
Yeah.
So we're lucky to have that at Down End. And then going on for 10, 20 years, I would love to be the captain of one of the senior teams one day. That would be a real honour. And also, for the club, I think it's just a matter of, being financially stable. I mean, I sound like a chairman, but I think Down End have always struggled with the facilities we've had, the small ground, and I think the work that's going on behind the scenes is definitely improving it on and off the field.
Do you think it's feasible that Down End in 20 years' time can still play top level local cricket?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's quite difficult to say. Obviously, there's an amazing junior setup, and some of the players coming through, I reckon there could be 3 or 4 of them making their first team debuts in the next 3 or 4 years. So I think that's really positive. So if you look on from that, they'll be playing, and hopefully can step into the boots of some of whom are playing now, and still be at the top level in 20 years. But club wise, and looking off the field, I think we haven't got the kind of facilities or benefits that other clubs have. For instance, Bedminster with their car park, and Ashton Gate. We're just a small club and we rely on community, really.
Yeah, and is Down End a club a silly question because I know the answer. Is Down the club that you would recommend for any junior or teenager coming up?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I think it was, such a friendly atmosphere. I think, well, it's Friday today. Obviously, this will be released later on, but right now we wouldn't be sat here. I'd be at the club.
Yeah.
You'd probably be at work, but I'd be at the club with 20 others,
Yeah.
all my age. We'd be playing a game of one bounce. We'd be looking ahead to tomorrow, first game of the season.
Sure.
People would be in the net. Juniors would be training tomorrow morning. So
Yeah,
it's completely different.
Yeah. Well, Ollie, thanks very much for taking the time, and I hope all your dreams are realised.
Brilliant.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
You. Cheers. Thank you, Dad.